Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar organized by JetBrains. So my name is Jodie Birchall, and I'm the Data Science Developer Advocate. And of course, today I'll be your host. So the topic for today's webinar is how to build beautiful data apps with Datalore. And it's being presented by my colleague, Alena Guzharina, who is our amazing product marketing manager for Datalore. So some of you might have seen, I already hosted Alena for a fantastic Datalore webinar back in July about how to work with SQL and Python in the same notebook. And it was a great webinar. So if you missed that, you should definitely catch the recording on our YouTube channel. But in the meantime, welcome back, Alena.
Hi, Jodie. I'm very happy to be here.
Yes. So you and I were recently at a conference in London together, right?
Yeah, it was amazing. I enjoyed Leiden so much. Actually, it was 10,000 people in 2 days, so it was pretty insane. But we had so many really insightful conversations. And yeah, just I enjoyed London. I enjoyed Big Data London, and hopefully we'll go next year as well.
Yeah, and this conference was a little bit of a different sort of conference to what we usually attend. So normally we're at sort of language specific or tech specific conferences, whereas this was more a sort of general data conference. And I kind of wasn't sure how it would go, but I really enjoyed it because there were so many different types of people. So how did you find it?
Yeah, just I totally agree with you that it was different from the way it usually is. Usually, you talk about debugger, you talk about Git support or something like this. And during this conference, we didn't have like a single talk around these topics, and we actually have been showcasing Report Builder back then as well, because we were doing some early previews. So I was gathering feedback from the audience at Big Data London, and I was really happy to hear positive reviews and just to see that people are excited about this feature as I was. So yeah, just I'm thrilled to be presenting it today to our audience here on YouTube. So yeah, just Big Data London was a different kind of conference, perfect for our team, I would say.
I agree. And I also am really excited about Report Builder. Like, it's quite a big deal for Datalore, and it's something that's been very, very heavily requested. Before we get into it, though, and sort of give some context as to why it's such a big deal, some people in the audience may not be so familiar with Datalore generally. So would you mind just giving us a Cliff's Note definition of what Datalore is and what it does?
Sure. So Datalore is a collaborative data science platform for teams, and it combines powerful data science with smart Jupyter notebooks for Python, SQL, Scala, R, and Kotlin, together with modern business intelligence with data apps, real-time collaboration on codes, and in team workspaces. And I would say the best thing about Datalore is that you can use it wherever you need it. And for example, teams can host a private version Datalore in their private cloud on AWS, Azure, GCP, or even on on-prem servers. And this way satisfy their security requirements. And if you just want to try Datalore for yourself, we host a community version by JetBrains, and you can just access it online. And also feel free to try Datalore professional features also online, really easily available on our website. So I would say I would explain Datalore like this right now.
Yeah, and as a data scientist, Datalore is obviously now one of my day-to-day tools, and I can only second what Alena said. Just give it a go. It's so much fun to use, and the community edition is free. So yeah, just go and give it a registration and give it a go. Okay, so I'm super excited to get into this webinar. So let's jump into it. So we do like to keep our webinars as conversational and as interactive as possible. So if you do have any questions or issues during the webinar, please do let us know using that chat in YouTube. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on that chat the whole time. And we're going to have a couple of pauses where Alena will be able to answer your questions. And Alena literally knows everything about Datalore. So even if you don't have questions about Report Builder, you just want to know something else about Datalore, this is your chance to ask her. And again, don't wait for the end of the talk. We're going to be pausing, so please ask those questions as soon as you have them. And please also do be aware that this webinar is being recorded currently, and that recording is going to be available pretty much right after the webinar on YouTube. So if you have any points that you wanted to revisit or you want to just rewatch that webinar, that recording is going to be available for you on our channel. So with all of the administration out of the way, let's hand over to Alena, and she's going to show us how Datalore can help us create absolutely beautiful data apps directly from notebooks.
Perfect. So let's start. And over here at my screen, you can see a Jupyter notebook in Datalore. I'm now using our online version of Datalore, which we host by JetBrains. And yeah, just I prepared certain bits of analysis, but first let's talk about the tasks that we'll be solving today by providing a data app and by showcasing Report Builder. So let's imagine I'm a staff data scientist at a US company, and there is some friction in my team about the salaries. And there hasn't been any salary raise in our organization since early 2020. And basically, I want to go to our CTO and HR team and just convince them to raise the salaries for my team. We do not have any data about public data science salaries in our organization. So I should find this data myself, do some research. But the goal of my research and what I want to highlight, what should be the result of my research, is a certain number, like how the median data science salaries, how they have changed since 2020. And it should provide us with some insights, with some numbers, how we should change the salaries for our internal team. And I want to make this not just a plain number shared in a slide deck with my CTO and HRs, but I want to make it a reproducible research and also make a really tight connection between the data, the analysis, and the final results, so that my stakeholders can just take a look, take an in-depth look what I've been working on, and just prove that my analysis is correct. So that would be our amazing task for today. Hopefully it would be an interesting task for you as well. So first of all, we need to get the data. And I just searched for a data science salaries data set in Google, and I found one on Kaggle. So it's a publicly available data set, and I basically added it to my S3 bucket. So in Datalore, you can connect data directly to your notebook, and there are multiple data connections available. So I first prepared this quick research using the data from my S3 bucket, but it could be anything. It could be data hosted in a Postgres database, in a Snowflake database, in Google BigQuery, and Datalore supports a lot of data integrations. And I will explain why it is important for building data apps. So yeah, just at my screen, you can see that Datalore supports a bunch of connections. And when adding a new connection, you'll be able just to specify the credentials and choose the authorization method from the user interface. We do support SSH tunneling for database connections. So if you require this, give SSH tunneling a try. And whenever you'll be connecting to a database, Datalore will also offer you to choose the schemas you want to work with, because your database could be huge, and you do not need to attach it all to the analysis. So you'll be able to choose the specific schemas. And this way it will also speed up the introspection. And after you've connected your database once in your workspace, you can just reuse it across multiple analyses without having to write an additional line of code. And I find it really helpful for building data applications and building reproducible research, because there is a very direct connection between the data, the analysis, and the final report that we will publish at the end of my webinar. So yeah, just I mentioned that right now we are taking the data from the S3 file. Let's quickly preview the file, but I would like to showcase how you can work with SQL in Datalore to query data. So let's just create a new SQL cell. So here I have my Postgres database, and basically I dumped my data set into Postgres. So yeah, just we can see over here the schema tree, and adding a new SQL cell in Datalore is as easy as just adding a new cell type. So we'll just start typing, select everything from the salaries, and you can see that Datalore is providing code completion for me, not only for SQL syntax, but also for database table names, and it also provides completion for column names. We just need to select everything from our database. And what I will do now, I will change, before running this query, also the final variable I want to save my data set into. So let's call just this variable data, just for me not to change anything in my further code. And let's run this query. Let's, by the way, remove the code line with fetching data from S3, because we'll be using the results of my select expression. Let's wait for the query to complete. And right now you can see that the query result was saved to a pandas data frame. It's actually available within my further code. So yeah, just we can see that we queried with SQL, and there was a smooth transition between SQL and Python. I've talked more about this in our previous webinar, so I wouldn't pay much attention to it here. And what you can do in Datalore, you can just get some automatic statistics for your data set. We can see what kind of columns we have in the data set. What I'll be mostly interested in is salary in USD, because our data set, first of all, contains salaries in the currency of the employment country, and we do not want to deal with with doing transformations with currencies. So we will use salary in USD column. We will also take a look at company location, because our company is located in the US, and probably information about, I don't know, data science salaries in Germany are not that relevant to us. Still, we might take a look at the broader market, and company size might also be relevant for us. And of course, experience level and work year. Yeah, here we have work year. And by default, Datalore treated work year as a numerical column, but we can just simply change it to categorical, and just see the distribution of data for different years. Just statistics tab gives you really quick insight into the query results. And just let's move further to our analysis. Let's move to the table. And right here, you can see quite a new representation of tables in Datalore. It has been released to our community and professional plan, I think, last week or maybe 1.5 weeks ago. And what this new data frame representation allows you to do is to do sorting and filtering directly in the data frame view. So we can, for example, choose to sort ascending by salary in USD, just to see the minimum salary in our data set. You can quickly jump from top to bottom using these buttons. Datalore will also give you options to hide specific or more precisely, not show specific columns, and it saves you a lot of time or when just avoiding writing pandas iloc expressions. So you can just choose the columns you want to work with, and Datalore would update the table representation for you. For example, let's do not include salary. Let's do not include the currency, because we have salary in USD. And just we can click the button apply, and Datalore would re-render the table. And you can also do some basic filtering and sorting here. And the magic for me, and like the feature I'm mostly excited about myself, is that I right now see a data frame, a resultant data frame that I produced from the user interface, like by clicking several buttons. And what I always dreamt about is button export to code cell, which basically generates pandas code for these boilerplate actions, because I hate writing the same codes to do filtering, sorting, and choosing the columns. So Datalore will generate this boilerplate code for you. So yeah, we can run the cell. We removed ID, salary, currency, and sorted salary in USD column. Yeah, just I had some codes, a necessary code below. So let's see, it's called data generated right now. Yep. And below we can see that I already have some interactive controls included into my analysis. This is a dropdown. So in dropdown, we have years. So we want our end users to be able to choose the year they want to compare salaries with. And below, I also have some filtering of the data frames based on the values specified in years chosen. Let's now run my notebook to see if my transformations brought any errors to my previous analysis. Yep. Yeah, actually, there are no errors. That's good news. So yeah, I also prepared some pie charts over here to show the distribution of employee residents. I prepared some charts about employee experience, and we have a final resulting data set over here. But what I want to do now, so right now it's only possible to filter the data frame only based on the year. And my goal of this analysis is to provide my stakeholders with a reference number how the median salary changed from 2020 to 2021 and 2022, and just give us insight about potential salary raise. So let's first do some really quick Python coding. So let's calculate the median salary for 2022 year. So let's do median salary 2020. Let's take the initial data set, data work year. No, we need like this. We need to slice our data work year equals 2020. Then we should take salary in USD parameter and calculate the median. Yeah, my query worked. Median salary. Yeah, let's make it an integer right away to avoid floating numbers. And let's also calculate, so this is the median salary for the initial data set, for the data set we just queried from our Postgres database. So it's called data. And right now, after like applying some filtering over here, we want to calculate the median salary for a filtered data set. And we want to calculate it for the years specified inside Datalore's interactive control. And over here, we can see that year chosen is actually a list. Yeah, so and based on that list, we then do some pandas slicing and assigning this slicing to a data filtered variable. So let's calculate the median for the data filtered data frame. Let's go below and median salary filtered. It should be, let's say it's integer, data filtered. Yep, data filtered. Then we have salary in USD. We calculate median. And let's quickly display the result. Yes. So we have two numbers that we want to compare and showcase to our stakeholders. And what I will add now, I will add a new metric cell. And metric cell is a new kind of cells that I would really recommend using in your reports, and it really stands out within Report Builder. We'll show you how it looks in a few seconds. So we'll populate this metric cell with a median salary filtered variable, just to show the median salary for a filtered data set. Let's add the label. And we'll do comparison with a variable, with another variable. Let's choose this variable. That should be median salary 2020. And let's compare in percentage. So let's hit apply, run the cell. And what metric cell does, it shows you not only the number that we like of the variable we specified there, but it also shows you the difference in percentage and highlights it with color, how the value has changed from the compared variable. And I really love metric cells when like the result of my analysis is a number, and what could happen in like plain Jupyter notebook is that you just have markdown is powerful, but when your final result is only a part of a markdown string, it could be it couldn't highlight it that much, and metric cell solves this problem. And I really recommend using it to highlight the metrics. For example, you can show your machine learning model metrics with this metric cells and show how they change throughout the notebook reruns. You can show like average revenue. You can show any median, main, and max values within those metric cells, and use it in multiple different ways. Just we added the metric cell, and I think last thing that we should quickly add is one more interactive control to filter our data sets based on the location. So let's quickly add a new code cell and specify locations variable, which should have all of the locations available in our dataset. Unique. Yep. And now it is a list, and I will add a new dropdown. I would choose this variable from the list. I would make it single select because I think my stakeholders would be mostly interested to see the data for the US and maybe for a specific country. Just specify location chosen, a variable name that I will further use in my Python code, and just add a label, choose location. Yes. Let's quickly see if US is in here. Probably we should sort the list of locations to make US a top priority location for our stakeholders. We will not do this now. It's quite easy to do so by, for example, sorting the list that we populate this dropdown with. And now we need to add some logic over here. We need to say that the data generated company location equals location chosen. And I think we need to put it into the braces. And let's hope that it will work. No, because of this. Yep, let's take a look at our data set. Perfect. Yeah, let's rerun this. Location chosen. Let's take a look at the variable location chosen. It's the US. So data generated company location equals location chosen. Jody, if I share the notebook together with you, can you quickly take a look with me?
Not a problem.
Yep.
It's a good way to demonstrate real-time collaboration, Alena.
Actually, it was not planned. Sorry. Let's probably, I will quickly zoom out and share it with you in Slack.
No problem. It's always the danger of live demo, the gains, the failures. It's all right. Luckily, we have nice error detection, so I don't think it'll take too long.
I think I'm doing everything correctly. So, but yeah, so we've chosen the company location. Location is right now the US. The variable is correct. Are you able to join me?
Yeah.
Okay, you can see that Jody joined me. Jody will save my coding abilities.
Cool. Mm-hmm.
So I think it's somewhere here. So basically, location chosen is a string, and I want like company location to be equal location chosen in my data frame. Let's just try to rerun all. Okay.
It must have been, yeah, I think it was one of those Jupyter things where a value was saved and when you run everything out of order. Yeah, let's do the safe thing.
We should have started with reactive mode, actually. We would avoid this issue. So yeah, why not just go to reactive mode at the moment. For those who don't know what reactive mode is, reactive modes, and I promise it wasn't planned for this webinar. That sounds so natural. I mean, just reactive mode is designed directly for these things, so it keeps your notebook state up to date. And if you're just like building it on top of your previous analysis in the same computational environment, in the same computational state, like reactive mode would keep track of your changes and rerun the dependent cells below the modified one. So you will always your work will always stay consistent. So yeah, let's rerun all. Yep.
We've also had a couple of comments that...
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to jump into the comments.
No. People helping us debug before we get to the questions, of which there are a lot of good ones. So thank you so much to everyone who's sending those in. So some of our listeners have suggested that we might be looking at employee region, not company region. So maybe we actually need employee region, or is it working now?
Let me see. No, it doesn't work. Actually, now it's working. Perfect. Reactive mode saved us. Employee. Oh my gosh, I'm looking at employee region.
Yeah.
Location. Thank you so much. So like actually everything worked perfectly. I just looked to another confusing column in my data set, and what we can do to avoid this is just to drop this column, just to exclude this kind of misunderstanding further on. Let's remove it maybe over here in this data set. I want to exclude employee residence.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the comments was, this is a perfect example of a welcome to engineering class. Or also known as welcome to, the world of analysis.
Yeah, but actually, this is why we build Datalore, because such things happen in real life, and hopefully, I'm not the only one who faces this problems during research. And yeah, just Jody jumped on my notebook and could help me with this code, and at least I felt not alone. So yeah, just I think it's a great place right now to ask questions if there are any, because then we'll move directly to building a report, like the most exciting part of our work. Still, I wanted just to integrate some part of analysis, just to showcase how you can connect the data and make your work interactive and make the results actually stand out in your work. So yeah, just Jody, are there any questions for me?
And there are actually quite a few great questions. First thing I want to say is I'm super pumped to see the report after seeing a 50% increase in salary in 2 years for data science. So, from a selfish point of view, I'm quite excited about that. Cool. But let's start with the first question. So the first question is actually a roadmap question about plan features for Datalore. Do we have any plans to integrate GitHub's Copilot?
For GitHub's Copilots, I wouldn't say it is planned for the upcoming releases. What is planned is GitHub integration. I mean, just full-fledged GitHub integration for syncing your notebooks to GitHub. But I would say there are currently no plans to for like the first half of the year to integrate with GitHub Copilot. And if you have an idea, like what kind of integration would you like to have, just please share with us, and yeah, just we'll consider it with our product team.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I can totally see how Copilot would be an attractive feature because I played around with it a bit, and the amount of boilerplate it can actually like generate the full iris, like, decision tree analysis from boilerplate. It's pretty amazing. Cool. So we have the next question about the metric cell. So can the metric cell color be changed, since higher median salary should be, in my opinion, red, not green?
Higher median salary should be red, not green. So over here we said, like it is said that the median salary that we calculated over here is 80% higher than median salary 2020. So I would say it should be green here.
I guess maybe the question though is, if you wanted to set, say, a custom color scheme for that, do you have that option, or?
Right now it's not available. Still, like we developing this feature further, and yeah, thanks for a feature request. It sounds really valid. So yeah, just we released metric cell also a few weeks ago. So expect feature development further.
Cool. All right. So the next question is, can you format the number displayed in the metric cell? So for example, using the comma separator for thousands.
Right now, again, it is not possible as well. It's just the first iteration of the feature. But yeah, that's also a good feature suggestion.
Yeah. Another question. So is Datalore intended to cover all of the process of data analysis, from gaining the data to distribution to end users?
Exactly, and that's what my today's webinar is about. So we'll jump into report builder and sharing the data insights with data apps and with reports. So yeah, I will share it today.
Cool. Another couple of questions. Is it possible to create reports that will show, let's say, company financial reporting and update monthly and distribute it to the selected users automatically?
It is possible, and I will show you this at the end of my webinar. It's the last part.
These are actually really nice questions for us guys. It's almost like I wrote them to set a letter up. Couple more questions. Is syncing with space planned?
Yes, it is planned, not for the first half of the year, but for 2023. Oh gosh, yeah, 2023 is planning, so we plan to work on this project.
In my mind, I'm already in 2023, so I'm super confused about what year it is. And then one final question. I don't think Datalore is supposed to be a replacement for business intelligence. It's more intended as an ad hoc analysis for data scientists, or am I wrong?
So what use case we are covering right now, and we want to be really helpful in that part, is like Datalore is designed for, the core of Datalore is designed for data scientists. It has smart coding assistants, like IDE features in your browser, and it really helps core data science team to do ad hoc analysis, research, train models with ease. And what we are facilitating for them is sharing results of their work and making their work accessible. So I would say in a teams where there is like no data scientist or no data analyst who code with Python or SQL, it wouldn't replace a business intelligence tool. So that's true. But for teams where there is an analytics team, a data science team who wants to increase the data literacy around the company, to kind of democratize the data science and the data they have, Datalore could be a nice replacement for combining for like a combined workflow of Jupyter and dashboards and BI tools. So we are trying to provide an end-to-end solution from fetching the data to sharing the results of analysis or research.
Cool. Yeah. So they were all the questions. Thank you so much. These are amazing questions. So please keep them coming as Alena goes through the next section. And I think we'll hand back over to you to get into the report builder.
Perfect. So we are coming to the most interesting part of this webinar, which is building a report out of the notebook. And it is as easy as clicking build report button, which appeared in the top right corner of the editor. And over here, you can see a canvas. By default, Datalore just adds all of the cells to the canvas. And before Report Builder, it was also possible to publish static and interactive reports, and you could hide specific cells, but it was not possible to change the order of the cell. It was not possible in the report. It was not possible to place the cells on a canvas the way you want. And with Report Builder, you can organize your notebook cells as you would like to emphasize them. So for example, in my analysis, let's now quickly clear the canvas because I have a lot of intermediate steps in my report, in my notebook. And I will just start adding the cells. So I want to add some markdown cells at the top. Then I want to have interactive controls. So I will just add this, quickly change the size, and Report Builder basically allows you to change the size of the cell, to change the placement of this cell. Let's add also a location selector, the one we struggled with, and I will place it together with the year selector. Below, I would like to emphasize my metric cell directly, because that was like the goal of my analysis, to showcase this metric. So we'll add this, and at the bottom, I will also add a few pie charts I created. And actually, I think we might create one more visualization. So yeah, let's finish it here. And don't worry, Plotly will now resize the plot so that it fits it fits our canvas. Or we can just rerun all. So let's run all just to see how the plots will look like. So that Plotly resizes them. Whoop. What should be done that Plotly should resize it? Yeah, I think in the report it would look smoothly. So here there might be some issue with preview of this plot. I want actually to add one more plot to my analysis. Let's just quickly update the report with what we have and add one more visualization. Let's go to the top of my analysis. Let's choose data filtered. Let's display this data frame, and I will quickly show you how to do a visualization inside Visualize tab. So Datalore has some no-code elements to help you just quickly visualize the data you have without having to write a single line of code. What I want to build a density plot for salary in USD and color it by experience level. And basically from this plot, we can see that the green sign is, I think, senior engineers or senior level, and where their salary is mostly distributed. So yeah. Um, that's quite an informative plot. So what I will do now, I will export it to a code cell to be able to use it in my report builder. And actually, this is Python code that helped me produce this visualization within Visualize tab. So I can here, for example, configure the plot size if I want to. For example, I can do like this and just configure the size. Oh, probably that's too big. The initial size was better. But yeah, just you're not tied to no code panel that we have over here for every pandas data frame or SQL query result. And you can just export the visualization to a code cell and fine tune it there. So let's now add this visualization to our report. Yep. Let's add it at the bottom. And yeah, just right now we can see that the report looks pretty much the way we would like it to be shared with stakeholders. So it's a preview of the real reports that you will further share. And to make sure that it is reproducible, to make sure this report runs with no errors, we already have reactive mode enabled, which is good. And I wanted it to enable at this point of my webinar, but we had to enable it before because we were having some issues. And but if you are not using reactive mode, you can just click run all button and make sure that your notebook executes without any errors. And then I can simply click update report. For me, it's update report because this report is already published. Let's quickly delete the published report and I will show you how the publishing workflow looks. So yeah, just whenever you'll be publishing a report, you have a bunch of settings that you can configure. You can configure access settings. It could be either public access or restricted access. If you choose restricted access, then this report would be only available for viewers and editors of a certain workspace in Datalore. And you can also choose how you want to publish it, as a static report or interactive report. A static report would just be as a non-recomputable web page, and interactive report would allow your stakeholders to just manipulate the controls and get the results recomputed for them. So let's publish it right now and let's open it in a new tab. So this is how report looks like. Actually, over here we have only one markdown cell with a heading, but if you will if you prepare a huge report and it has a bunch of sections, you can just structure everything with the headings, and your report users would be able to just navigate the report from the table of contents. It's collapsible, so you can hide it to get a full view of the report. And yeah, just I sometimes use the word report, sometimes I use the word data app, and I will explain not the difference, but why I use these two different words. So before we called we code the published results as reports in Datalore, and it's quite a historical name. But right now we position this feature as a data app because basically what what data apps allow you to do is build any complex logic you want underneath a beautiful user interface. So we've done quite a simple analysis during this live session where we mostly focused on exploratory data analysis, filtered some data frames, presented some numbers. So that was pretty easy logic underneath. But in some cases, you might want to just I don't know, based on the inputs of the users, you might want to trigger a certain API from your Python code, or you might want to submit a certain request or train a model. And just with data apps and Datalore, you can hide any complex logic underneath a really clean interface that is friendly for any stakeholders in your company. And I will now zoom out of my window to show you that this report or data app is available under a link. So your stakeholders could just open it in the browser. They don't need to have a Datalore account. They don't need to have, unless you restricted access to the report. But if you just share it by public link, just people would be able to open it inside the browser tab. And if you shared it as an interactive report, everyone would get their own copy of the report. So people, your users, could interact with this report independently. So let's now, for example, remove 2021 variable from a chosen year. And basically what this will do, this will rerun the analysis behind this data app. I mean, the whole analysis, from fetching data from the database, then doing the exploratory analysis underneath, and then presenting the results for us. So we can see that the median salary increased by 85% from the median salary in 2020. And here, for example, we can also change the regions, and the second time report would recompute a lot faster because the first time when you recompute this, there is some fetching data from the database, and normally when you just change a few controls afterwards, it doesn't require rerunning the initial query. But rerunning that initial query, it helps you reproduce the results, and also it helps you always make sure you're fetching the fresh data. And it could be really useful when you want to just look into the last 7 days in your database, or the last months. So you can configure your SQL queries like this, so that they always look for today minus 30 days in your database. And Datalore would rerun this query and bring your users the fresh data. And we can see here that the plots are rendered pretty nicely. Our density plot is a bit huge for this report. We can change it in report builder and make the size adjustable for the inside plot. So you can configure that as well. And yeah, that's how the report or a data app could be shared, could be presented to your end users. And if they are technical enough, they will, and they have a Datalore account, they could just edit a copy and drill down to your analysis. So Datalore would basically give them the underlying analysis in their home workspace, so they would interact with it independently. Or again, you can invite your stakeholders to your notebook if you want to just do some live demo, explain where the data comes from, etc. And if you decide to publish the result as a static report, there would be just no recalculate all button, and the selectors, they would be static. But still, it's a nice way to share your research results if there are just no input parameters. And I will now quickly show you what app Jody builds. Not this one. Yeah, this one. Yeah, let's reload it. So basically, Jody recently prepared a really simple decision tree, and she presented this decision tree with a data app, which basically allows you to change the sepal lengths, sepal widths, pedal lengths, and get the prediction. So underneath this data app, there is a simple decision tree, and this is a really nice way how you can prototype the results, show it to your internal stakeholder, and be sure that you will be building the model for the right interface. So it's like a green and showcasing how the final result could look like, with this simple and really quick prototype. And just this way you can quickly also share your results with some industry experts that can play with your data app and tell you about some corner cases. There are multiple ways how you can leverage the data app feature in Datalore. And my favorite thing is that there is a really direct connection between the notebook and the published data app. Jody, do we have questions?
We do. We do. So I think maybe we're pretty much at the end of your material, right? So we can, just keeping an eye on the time. So I think we'll go through these questions, and then, I think we can wrap up. So if you have any questions, now's the time. Great. So we have a question about where the report's going to be hosted. So this person, I think, I'm guessing they work with sensitive healthcare data. It's a very common question we get. And it's a very sensible question that we get.
Exactly. So Datalore can be hosted on premises, in your private cloud or on premises, so that the data doesn't leave your environment. And basically, you can host it on your AWS account where your databases are, or on any Kubernetes cluster, or like a server with a Docker installed. I will talk later how you can try Datalore for your team. The reports could be hosted either by JetBrains online if you're using community or professional plan, or you can host everything on your end using Datalore Enterprise plan.
Great. So there's a question about the visualization tab. Can you change the format of your X and Y variables in that visualization tab?
The formats X and Y variables, I think it's better to do so in a chart cell. So I will quickly show it's here. Okay, let's let this plot be, because we've chosen US as company location. Let's employment type. Experience level. Let's have experience level. So what you can do, you can not only export to a code cell, but you can also export the visualization to a chart cell. And here you can change the plot title, the X and Y, axis label, and you can also change the scale over here. So it could be continuous, discrete, reverse, logarithmic. Chart cells, they provide you with a lot more customizations than Visualize tab. And because Visualize tab is visible for the user who is working with the pandas data frame only. And if you want to integrate a chart into your reports and share it with either your collaborators or stakeholders, you should either export it as a code cell or export it to chart cell, where all these configurations are available.
Thank you. So I think you may have already answered this question, but just to make sure, can you add a refresh button to the data app to load up the most up-to-date data set?
Exactly, it would be loaded. The fresh data would be loaded every time you rerun the app, unless you just unless you dump a certain data set to a file in notebook files and decide to query it from there rather from fetching the fresh data from the database every time.
Yeah, and I think this is also probably, again, just a reminder about the scheduler. So if you,
I can just show it right away here.
Mm.
So basically, there is a button to recalculate the report on demand, but sometimes you just want to deliver fresh data on a regular basis. And in Datalore, you can just create a schedule within the computation tab. And here you can choose the intervals you want your notebook to run at. You can specify it either with a cron string or just, or with like daily, hourly, weekly, and monthly intervals. And what you can also do here is choose to update the report after each successful run. So it will update the corresponding published report, whether it's a static or interactive one, it doesn't matter. And also, you can notify users of each successful run by email. And here you can invite notebook collaborators, for example, to notify them if this report fails for some reason. Right now, like only me is invited by email specifically to this notebook. But if I invite Jody by email, I would be able to specify her email over here, and she will receive an email notification about the run results. So this way you can deliver scheduled updates to your reports, but this scheduling feature could not only be used as part of reports, but just could also be used to recompute the notebook, because all of the run results would be saved over here. All of all of the run results will be saved over here. So you'll be able just to check the history of runs and find some insights how like your notebook computations change throughout a month, a year, or something like this. So it's not necessary to update the report after each successful notebook run. It's rather an option how to schedule the delivery of regular report updates.
Yeah, and keep in mind this also applies to training. So if you want to train a model every hour, every day, you also have the option of doing that.
Yeah, and the metrics I can show you how your accuracy has improved compared
Yes. Yeah, this is the thing. Like, if you guys come up with some really exciting applications of this, we would love to see your reports. So you can share those with us, say on Twitter, or like I think there's a lot that can be done with this, and we can get really creative.
Yeah, and probably the last thing, just I want to quickly tell everyone about is how like you can try Datalore. So we actually recently released a new website, a new beautiful website. So you can just go to the pricing section or click get for free. And here you can create a free community account just by signing up with your Google or JetBrains JetBrains authentication, or if you want to use Datalore in your team and host the data in your private cloud or on premises, just request a free enterprise plan for up to 4 users. It's not a trial, it's just a free plan for 4 users, so you can use it for free in a small team. And then you can also request a trial license for more users for 30 days, just to see how it works within a broader team inside your company, and then just transition from free plan to paid plan whenever you want. So teams can try Datalore with the enterprise plan. Yeah.
Yes.
And last thing, if you'd like to share, if you'd like to share some of your data apps, just mention us on Twitter. Datalore is here just by Datalore nickname. Would really love to see what you will build with Report Builder.
Awesome. And just want to mention a couple more questions, but I think you've just answered those with the plans. So there was a question about can you basically host on a local intranet? And you've already answered that. You can host on-prem.
Datalore can even operate without public internet access. So, for example, if you have like a local pip repo where you have approved list of packages, you can also point Datalore Enterprise to that pip repo and just provide your users with the packages that are available within your organization.
Yeah. And then there was a final question about where we're hosting our professional edition. It is AWS. So just to answer that question.
Yeah, so we are providing some computational resources, some like basic machines, large machines, GPU machines, and more machine types are coming really soon. Yeah,
I didn't know that. That's a nice surprise for me. Cool. I am so sorry, guys. I think we may be out of time for questions. So I just really want to thank you so much, Alena. This has been a really, I think a really exciting webinar, and thank you so much to the audience for the engagement. It's really nice to get these sort of questions, and thank you so much for your help for debugging the demo. That was also amazing. No, it's fine. Live demos are brave. You always do them, and I never have the courage. So, they usually succeed. Cool. So I think we'll jump back to the slides and just show those links again. So in case you missed them, there they are. So yeah, let's just finish up here. Again, send through those reports as you're making them. We'd love to hear from you. And thank you so much for taking part in the presentation. And yeah, we're always looking for ways to make our webinars better. So please do reach out to us. We have an after webinar survey that'll be coming through. We do read it, so we promise we'll use that to make the webinars better. And that's everything from us today. So thanks again for tuning in, and enjoy the rest of your day, your evening, whatever you've got planned. So goodbye.
Goodbye.